Have you ever felt like you were meant for something greater? Like there was a life of abundance, joy and fulfillment waiting for you just beyond your reach? What if I told you that the key to unlocking that life lies not in some distant, unattainable future, but within the very essence of your being, in the power of your vibration? You see, everything in this universe, from the tiniest atom to the vastness of galaxies, is made up of energy, constantly vibrating at different frequencies. And as human beings, we are no exception. Our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs all carry their own unique vibrations, shaping our reality in ways we may not even realize. So, what if by learning to control and elevate your vibration, you could manifest the life of your dreams? In this video, we'll dive deep into the transformative power of the law of vibration, a principle that lies at the heart of manifestation and personal transformation. Get ready to discover the science behind this universal law and learn practical techniques to raise your frequency and attract the experiences, people, and opportunities that align with your highest potential. But before we embark on this journey, I invite you to take a moment and reflect. How would your life change if you could master your own vibration? What dreams would you manifest? What kind of person would you become? Allow yourself to envision that reality and feel the excitement and possibility that comes with it. Because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools and knowledge to make that vision a reality. So, if you're ready to unlock the secrets of vibration and take control of your life like never before, keep watching. Get ready to discover the truth behind the statement, "This is not philosophy, this is physics," and learn how to harness the power of your energy to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Let's dive in. What is the law of vibration? Imagine for a moment that you could see the world through a powerful microscope. As you zoom in closer and closer, you'd begin to notice that everything around you, from the solid ground beneath your feet to the air you breathe, is made up of tiny, vibrating particles. This is the fundamental truth that lies at the heart of the law of vibration. Everything in the universe is in a constant state of motion, emitting its own unique frequency. But what does this mean for you and your life? To understand the full implications of this universal law, we must first explore the concept of frequency. In simple terms, frequency refers to the rate at which something vibrates. The higher the frequency, the more energy and vitality it possesses. Think of a tuning fork struck against a surface. The faster it vibrates, the higher the pitch it emits. Now, apply this concept to your own life. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs all carry their own distinct frequencies, which in turn attract experiences and circumstances that match that vibrational state. In other words, the quality of your life is a direct reflection of the vibrations you emit. If you consistently vibrate at a low frequency, characterized by fear, doubt, and negativity, you'll find yourself attracting more of the same. But if you learn to raise your vibration to a higher level, you open yourself up to a world of limitless possibility and abundance. This is where the law of vibration differs from the more well-known law of attraction. While the law of attraction focuses on the idea that like attracts like, the law of vibration goes deeper, revealing the fundamental mechanism behind why this happens. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts or visualizing your desires. It's about embodying the energy and frequency of that which you wish to manifest. When you truly grasp the significance of the law of vibration, you begin to realize that you are not a passive observer of your reality, but a powerful creator. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every action you take is shaping your vibrational state and, in turn, the world around you. This is the essence of what it means to be a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. But how can you start to harness this incredible power and raise your vibration to align with your deepest desires? The answer lies in understanding the science behind the law of vibration and learning practical techniques to tune your energy to the frequency of your dreams. In the next section, we'll explore the fascinating world of quantum physics and discover how the latest scientific research is validating this ancient spiritual wisdom. Get ready to have your mind blown as we unravel the mysteries of the subatomic world and reveal the true nature of reality. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. The science behind the law of vibration. Have you ever wondered what the world looks like at the tiniest, most fundamental level? What if I told you that the key to understanding the law of vibration lies in the mind-bending discoveries of quantum physics? As scientists have peered deeper into the subatomic realm, they've uncovered a world that defies our everyday understanding of reality. At the heart of this world is the realization that everything is energy, constantly vibrating and interacting in a vast, interconnected dance. And it's this dance that holds the key to unlocking the secrets of manifestation and personal transformation. One of the most remarkable findings of quantum physics is the concept of wave-particle duality. This principle states that everything in the universe, from electrons to light, can behave as both a wave and a particle, depending on how it is observed. In other words, the very act of observation has the power to shape reality at the most fundamental level. But what does this have to do with the law of vibration? Everything. You see, just like the subatomic particles that make up the physical world, your thoughts and emotions also have a wave-like nature. They emit frequencies that ripple out into the universe, interacting with and shaping the energy around you. And the more you focus on a particular thought or feeling, the more you amplify its vibrational power. This is where the concept of resonance comes into play. In physics, resonance occurs when two objects vibrate at the same frequency, causing them to exchange energy and amplify each other's vibrations. The same principle applies to your own energy field. When you vibrate at the frequency of your desires, you begin to resonate with the people, experiences, and opportunities that match that vibration, drawing them into your life with effortless ease. But here's the amazing part. The latest research in quantum physics suggests that the universe itself is a vast, interconnected web of energy and information. At the deepest level, everything is connected to everything else, and your thoughts and vibrations have the power to influence the very fabric of reality. This is why manifestation is not just some New Age woo-woo, it's a fundamental principle of the universe, grounded in the cutting-edge science of our time. So, the next time someone tells you that the law of vibration is just a philosophy, remember this: it's not a belief system, it's a scientific fact. And by understanding and harnessing the power of your own vibration, you hold the key to unlocking a world of infinite possibility and abundance. But don't just take my word for it. In the next section, we'll explore the teachings of one of the greatest masters of manifestation, Bob Proctor, and discover how he used the law of vibration to transform his life and achieve levels of success and fulfillment beyond his wildest dreams. Get ready to be inspired and empowered as we dive into the wisdom of this legendary teacher and learn how you can apply his principles to your own life. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Bob Proctor's insights on the law of vibration. Have you ever heard of Bob Proctor? If not, let me introduce you to one of the most influential and transformative figures in the world of personal development. Bob Proctor is a master of manifestation, a teacher, and a living embodiment of the law of vibration in action. Born in 1934, Proctor's early life was marked by struggle and limitation. He dropped out of high school and spent years bouncing from one low-paying job to another, never quite finding his footing in the world. But all of that changed when he discovered the power of the mind and the laws of the universe, including the law of vibration. Through years of study and application, Proctor transformed his life from one of scarcity and lack to one of abundance, success, and fulfillment. He went from earning a meager income to building a multi-million-dollar empire, all by harnessing the power of his own vibration and aligning it with his deepest desires. One of the key insights that Proctor shares in his teachings is that our thoughts and emotions are the ultimate tools for shaping our reality. He emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of our mental and emotional states and consciously choosing thoughts and feelings that resonate with the outcomes we wish to manifest. In Proctor's own words, "Everything is energy, and the energy you put out into the world is what you attract back to you. If you want to change your life, you have to change your vibration. You have to align your energy with the frequency of your desires and trust that the universe will bring them to you in perfect timing." This is the essence of what it means to vibrate in alignment with your dreams. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts or reciting affirmations. It's about embodying the energy and frequency of that which you wish to manifest. And the more you practice this, the more you'll find yourself attracting incredible opportunities, synchronicities, and abundance into your life. But Proctor's teachings go even deeper than that. He also emphasizes the importance of taking inspired action towards your goals and trusting in the power of the universe to guide you along the way. As he puts it, you can't just sit around and wait for the universe to deliver your dreams on a silver platter. You have to be willing to take action, to step out of your comfort zone, and to trust that every step is bringing you closer to your ultimate destination. So, if you're ready to start vibrating at the frequency of your dreams, take a page from Bob Proctor's book. Start by becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions, and consciously choosing those that align with your highest vision for your life. Take inspired action towards your goals, and trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor. And above all, remember that you are a powerful creator, capable of shaping your reality through the power of your own vibration. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into the practical techniques and strategies you can use to raise your vibration and align yourself with the life of your dreams. Get ready to learn proven methods for reprogramming your mind, cultivating positive emotions, and manifesting your deepest desires. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Raising your vibration. So you've learnt about the law of vibration, the science behind it, and the transformative power of aligning your energy with your desires. But how do you actually put this knowledge into practice? How can you start raising your vibration and manifesting the life of your dreams? The first step is to become aware of your current vibrational state. Take a moment to tune into your thoughts, emotions, and overall energy. Do you feel light, expansive, and full of possibility? Or do you feel heavy, contracted, and weighed down by fear and doubt? Remember, your vibration is a direct reflection of your inner state, so becoming aware of it is the first step towards shifting it. Once you've gained awareness of your vibration, the real work begins. One of the most powerful tools for raising your frequency is the practice of gratitude. When you focus on the things you're thankful for, no matter how small, you begin to shift your energy from one of lack and scarcity to one of abundance and appreciation. Make it a daily habit to write down 3 things you're grateful for and watch as your vibration begins to rise. Another key technique for raising your vibration is the use of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself, either out loud or silently, to reprogram your subconscious mind and align your energy with your desires. The key is to choose affirmations that resonate with you and to say them with conviction and emotion. For example, instead of just saying, "I am abundant," try saying, "I am a magnet for abundance, and prosperity flows to me easily and effortlessly." But affirmations alone aren't enough. You also need to take inspired action towards your goals. This means listening to your intuition, following your passions, and taking steps every day to bring your dreams into reality. Remember, the universe responds to your energy, but it also responds to your actions. So don't just sit around waiting for your desires to manifest. Go out and make them happen. Another powerful tool for raising your vibration is the practice of meditation. When you take time each day to quiet your mind and tune into your inner wisdom, you begin to align yourself with the frequency of your highest self. You tap into a wellspring of peace, clarity, and intuitive guidance that can help you navigate even the most challenging of circumstances. But perhaps the most important thing to remember when it comes to raising your vibration is to be patient and kind with yourself. Shifting your energy and reprogramming your subconscious mind takes time and practice. There will be days when you feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But trust that every effort you make is bringing you closer to your ultimate destination. And above all, remember that you are not alone on this journey. The universe is always conspiring in your favor, and there are countless resources and support systems available to you. Whether it's joining a community of like-minded individuals, working with a coach or mentor, or simply surrounding yourself with positive, uplifting influences, know that you are supported every step of the way. So, if you're ready to start vibrating at the frequency of your dreams, start by implementing these simple but powerful techniques into your daily life. Practice gratitude, use affirmations, take inspired action, meditate, and be kind to yourself. Trust that every step you take is bringing you closer to the life you truly desire, and know that the universe is always guiding you towards your highest good. In the final section of this video, we'll explore some of the most common obstacles and challenges that can arise on the path of manifestation, and how to overcome them with grace and ease. Get ready to learn proven strategies for staying aligned with your desires, even in the face of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Practical steps to start vibrating correctly. All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this video, from the science of vibration to the transformative teachings of Bob Proctor and everything in between. But now it's time to get practical. How can you start implementing these principles into your daily life and begin vibrating at the frequency of your dreams? The first step is to get clear on what you truly desire. Take some time to sit down and visualize your ideal life in vivid detail. What does it look like? How does it feel? Who are you surrounded by, and what are you doing? The more specific and emotionally charged your vision, the more powerful it will be in aligning your vibration with your desires. Once you have a clear vision of what you want, it's time to start reprogramming your subconscious mind. One of the most effective ways to do this is through the use of affirmations, as we discussed earlier. But don't just recite them half-heartedly. Really feel the truth of each statement as you say it. Imagine yourself already living in the reality of your desires, and let that feeling infuse every cell of your being. Another powerful technique for reprogramming your subconscious mind is the practice of visualization. Take time each day to close your eyes and imagine yourself living in the reality of your dreams. Engage all of your senses. What do you see, hear, feel, taste, and smell? The more vividly you can imagine your desired reality, the more powerfully you'll align your vibration with it. But Manifestation isn't just about thinking and feeling, it's also about taking action. And the key to taking inspired action is to listen to your intuition and follow your heart. When you're in alignment with your desires, you'll find that opportunities and synchronicities start showing up in unexpected ways. Trust that inner guidance and take steps every day to bring your dreams into reality. Of course, there will be challenges and obstacles along the way. Fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs can all throw you off course if you let them. But remember, these are just energies, and you have the power to choose how you respond to them. When fear arises, acknowledge it, but don't let it control you. Remind yourself of your vision and keep taking steps forward, even if they feel small. And above all, practice self-love and self-care. Raising your vibration isn't about pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion or beating yourself up for not being perfect. It's about treating yourself with kindness, compassion, and respect. Make time for activities that nourish your soul and bring you joy. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, and remember that you are always worthy of love and abundance, no matter what. So, if you're ready to start vibrating at the frequency of your dreams, start by implementing these practical steps into your daily life. Get clear on your desires, reprogram your subconscious mind, take inspired action, and practice self-love and self-care. Trust that the universe is always supporting you, and know that every step you take is bringing you closer to the life you truly desire. Wow, we've covered so much in this video, from the science of vibration to the transformative teachings of Bob Proctor and everything in between. But I hope that by now you're starting to see just how powerful the law of vibration truly is, and how you can use it to manifest the life of your dreams. Remember, everything in the universe is energy, and your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are all vibrating at a specific frequency. By becoming aware of your vibration and consciously choosing to align it with your desires, you have the power to shape your reality in ways you never thought possible. But this isn't just about getting what you want. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. When you raise your vibration, you not only attract abundance and opportunity into your life, but you also become a beacon of light and positivity for others. You inspire those around you to reach for their own dreams, and you contribute to the collective healing and evolution of our world. So, as we come to the end of this video, I want to leave you with a challenge. Take the principles and techniques we've discussed and start implementing them into your daily life. Get clear on your desires, reprogram your subconscious mind, take inspired action, and practice self-love and self-care. And above all, trust in the power of your own vibration to shape your reality. Remember, this is not just a philosophy, it's a science. And by aligning yourself with the laws of the universe, you open yourself up to a world of infinite possibility and abundance. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of discovery and transformation. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content designed to help you unlock your full potential and manifest the life of your dreams. And always remember, you are a powerful creator, capable of shaping your reality through the power of your own vibration. So keep shining your light, keep reaching for your dreams, and trust that the universe is always conspiring in your favor. Until next time, keep vibrating at the frequency of your highest self, and know that anything is possible when you align yourself with the power of the universe. Thank you, and Namaste.